With emotional detachment being a recurring theme on this channel, I feel the need to say that it's completely at odds with the kid I used to be. I used to be a very emotional kid. One day my family found a spider in our living room. It was one of those giant house spiders you notice lurking in the corner of your room. My mum and sister's first instinct was to kill it, but me being an extremely empathetic 8-year-old, I wanted to save it. Since there was no way in hell I was grabbing this little arachnid with my hands, I decided to carefully place a cup over it, then put a piece of paper beneath it, so I could safely take him outside.
No. That's it, see? Good boy, Lewis. Lewis, are you scared?
As a kid, I was always really fascinated and empathetic towards insects, especially ants, mainly because of how intelligent they seemed, how they can communicate efficiently, make colonies with systems put in place, and work together as a collective. They have queens and hierarchies, they're like mini humans. I definitely overestimated how sentient these critters were because I remember crying over the thought of them having to go to war. The 1998 DreamWorks film Ants was my favorite film, and that further added on to this weird maternal feeling I felt towards them. It was one of my first realizations that life is just unfair. I'm sure glad humans don't have to go to war anymore, I naively thought. Being an empathetic kid that's gradually introduced to the bleak aspects of life is a very depressing experience. I remember this conversation with my sister about the final Stranger Things season. A lot of people criticized Finn Wolfhard's acting, saying Mike Wheeler felt flat and emotionless compared to his earlier performances. I never really noticed. I thought that after everything those characters have been through, emotional detachment approaching adulthood was only natural. Months later, I opened up to her about how I don't really feel a lot of explicit emotions and haven't for a long time. I told her it makes me feel like I'm barely even human sometimes, like there's something broken in me. She told me that she's watched me grow up my entire life and that I've always been a very empathetic person, but I've also been through a lot. She said that's just how a lot of people, especially men, process deep emotional trauma. I accepted that and it made me feel a lot better about myself, but I still left the conversation feeling quite empty. I feel like fluctuating emotion acts as your drive in life. Without them, it can feel quite dull and meaningless. And I've definitely been struggling with this worldview for a while now. I know drinking and smoking weed is bad for me, but why does it make me feel 10 times more present and alive than I do when I'm sober? Most people take substances to alleviate them from their inner turmoil, but I do it for the exact opposite effect, to feel something at least. How can I view alcohol as a negative when every time I'm drunk I text my sisters telling them I love them? It's like it reactivates a passion chip in my mind, that I am attached to my family and friends, it's just suppressed during the day. The morning after I always feel so embarrassed that I said I love you to the girls who practically raised me. The same boy who spent his entire day clenching an open squashy in his hand just so he could give it to his sister after school, now feels uncomfortable telling that same girl that he loves her. I think this must have started when I was young. I never knew what to do when my mother would cry in front of me, because how the hell is a 9-year-old boy supposed to comprehend that the figure that he depends on for everything might just be as lost as he is? It's when I realized that adults really are just bigger children. But even now, as a grown man, I still don't know how to comfort her. Even when her own mother dies and she needs someone to be there for her, I try my best to, but sometimes I feel like just being there isn't enough. I want to feel for you, but when someone breaks down in front of me, there's something inside me that won't allow me to feel that much. No, in fact, when my male friends sound like they're about to break down, why do I naturally feel a sense of detest? I know that I shouldn't, that men can cry too, there's nothing wrong with that, but something inside me feels resentful. It's like, I've managed to suppress it my entire life, why aren't you? Isn't that the whole toxic masculine oath we owe each other? Of course not. How as a man am I falling into the same traps that I've been so brutally shown the outcomes to? I think it's more that I'd like to imagine that my male friends are as mentally healthy as they show. When that facade inevitably breaks, it feels like another uncomfortable reminder that even our strongest are lost. I think as men, we just like to imagine that we are as good as we seem. Most people are emotionally detached if you really think about it. Like, you look at your phone and you're aware that this device likely wasn't made in the most ethical way, but we subconsciously choose to ignore it because thinking about how intertwined we are in this capitalist system that promotes modern day slavery would just make us all depressed. There's a certain level of compassionate emotional detachment you need when navigating this world, but that doesn't mean emotional illiteracy. You're still able to understand what's right and wrong, even if you don't have this overwhelming feeling in your heart compelling you to do so. We all have the capacity to do exactly that. I've said in a video before that I don't feel sadness, and the past couple weeks have definitely reminded me that I still do. I'm just blessed to not experience it as much as most people seem to. Going to university has made me realize how sad most people really are. Emotional detachment doesn't necessarily need to be a bad thing. I'm starting to view it as a blessing, given how this world can be, especially because I do think I'm just lazy and I can feel more if I really tried. But can I really hold myself to the same standard as others when I don't innately have the same passions and pleasures to motivate me as they do? This emotional detachment probably is a good thing for me in the long run. I don't think I'd fare too well if I was completely in touch with my emotions, and my subconscious definitely knows that. But at the same time, I really do miss how I used to feel when I was a kid. Doesn't everyone? They say that as children we're the most in touch with ourselves. Is that why the dreams where I'm a kid again are always the most beautiful? No doubt my dreams are the language of my soul. In these dreams I feel like I am my soul. Beyond the inflated ego of a 21-year-old man is a sensitive little boy who just feels too much. I've only had a few dreams as a man where I regress back into a kid. I even made a video about one, but this last one I had was kind of strange. I think I'm sat down in a primary school classroom. I remember wondering, what does it feel like to be God? Has he always existed? How can that be? What even are you? While asking these questions, my gaze was locked onto this man, as if I was asking him directly. I think he was the teacher of the classroom. There is a little girl sat next to him, and she looks angry at me. She speaks to the man, then points at me. He asks her, "Why are you mad at him?" Then she turns to me and says, "He never said goodbye," then kisses me on my cheek. I had this dream last year and I never understood it. Did I miss something? That teacher, this sounds ridiculous, I know, but why do I think that was God? Who was that girl mad at me? Was she maybe an old friend that I never said goodbye to? Or maybe a representation of my old self? I felt like she was very important. They say soulful dreams don't have to take place in present day. Was that someone from my past? Or even my future? Why did I feel like I knew her? Maybe I look too deep into these dreams. I've definitely made that mistake before. But I think now I know what is from my subconscious and what's from my soul. It's true that we cherish the versions of ourselves that existed before the wounds of our inner wars. This little boy is still wandering around the deepest and most intimate sanctuary of my mind. And every time remnants of him come back, I never really know how to handle it.